draw you some conclusions. Let me draw you. Let me shed some light. Let me shed some light on the situation. So you might have noticed that I stopped doing the daily ones for a little while. Haven't done any of them. Is there any complex reasoning behind this? No, I just ran out of shit to talk about. One day I sat down, I opened my video ideas document, and I was like, oh, this document is empty. I realized I'd done all of them, and then I was like, oh, I don't have any more interesting things to talk about. And so I just was like, well, no video for today then, I suppose, and like maybe I can come up with something later. Nothing really came to mind, and it was just like that for a few days after I've not really had any more ideas for videos. So right now, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess I'll just explain a little stuff about my situation. So the drillers next door they've been real drilling hard at work. They've been drilling like no man's business. Let me see if you can see that. So it seems like, yeah, there's a lot of bricks down there. That's all I can actually see from this angle, but like they seem to be making something. Really no thank you. They seem to, oh, come on, don't focus on my bug screen. Come on. No. Maybe no. Okay. Well, whatever. They seem to be very slowly building an extension to this building. Very as slowly as possible, really. Come on, are you like, what's going on here? Like, what's this? It doesn't even get closer or further away. It just, whatever. None of this matters. Anyway. So yeah, they're going very slowly, jackhammering away. Jackhammering away every single fucking day, being as loud as possible. Lots of kurva, very loud kurva. And so it got to the point where I was like, well, there's no way I'm sleeping through this. And so I decided to stay up for longer than normal. I decided to try and stay up till midday. This was 2 days ago, I believe. I decided, I've been going to sleep at like 5 a.m. I'll just try and stay up until midday and then go to sleep at midday, or if possible, later than midday. But I'll try and aim for midday. I did it. I went to sleep at midday, but for some reason, as it sometimes happens when you just fuck with your sleep cycle with reckless abandon, my brain was just like, nah, you're only getting 5 hours. So I got 5 hours of sleep, and then it was like a situation of like the next day. But what I mean, when I woke up, it's a situation of like, normally if I only got 5 hours of sleep, I'd probably go to bed early because I was super fucking tired. But that's not an option because I'm trying to change my sleep cycle into one where I wake up past midday so that I'm asleep. Basically, the point of this is to be that I wake up before 9 a.m. I'm trying to be the sort of like wake up at 3 a.m. That's like my goal, is like wake up at 3 a.m. type of sleep cycle. And hold on, I've got to kill this guy. Okay, he killed me. Works just as well. So my goal is to wake up at 3 a.m. I'm nowhere near there yet, but eventually I'll slip into that cycle after, maybe a few weeks to a month or something. I'll probably get there eventually. And what was I talking about? So yeah, I couldn't go to sleep early because even though I was really fucking tired. So then I just had a day where I was just really fucking tired. And that day I only got 6 hours of sleep. So then I'm like, and bear in mind that previous to this, not only have I stayed up for much longer than normal on one day, I have then, before that even happened, I wasn't sleeping the best either. I was having mediocre sleeps prior to this whole eventuality. And so, all around, I was just getting shit sleep for like a week, is the point here that I'm trying to make. And it took last night I finally got like 7 hours or whatever, which is, better than normal, but well, no, better than it had been, but still, it was a real challenge for me to stay up until midday yesterday. The point being, hopefully today it's somewhat easier. I did take some caffeine this time. Yesterday I also took some caffeine, but I mistimed it. I took it too early. Hopefully this time I took some caffeine at like maybe 10-15 minutes ago, which would make it 6:40. So at about 6:40 a.m. I took some caffeine. I'm hoping that will last 6 hours. That's a reasonable amount of time for caffeine to last. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to stay awake till midday comfortably, and then I can start slowly pushing that forward so that because they don't stop working until 5, so really my lesson won't be complete. My goal isn't complete until I'm going to sleep after 5 p.m. At maybe like 6, 7, 8 p.m. is sort of goal time. It doesn't matter that much, but it's something around then. That's the goal. So yeah, right now, like the last couple of days, one of the reasons it's been hard to sleep is because when I've been trying to go to sleep, they've been drilling next door. And obviously that makes it a little difficult to fall asleep, the drilling. And then when they're drilling, I'm like, I got to do something about it, so I close my window properly, not with just a bug screen, and then it gets really hot in my room, because in the afternoon the sun shines directly into my room, which is, I think some people consider that a selling point of a house, to have a room that gets lots of sunlight. Like, why would you want that? That's just the worst possible thing that you can have a room be, is very hot, because it's just a fucking greenhouse full of sunlight. Yeah, that's basically all I wanted to. That's all that's been going on, sleep-wise, I suppose you would say. Some may say sleep-wise. I might say that if I wanted. So yeah, that's a thing. And then other than that, that's been hampering my creativity. I believe that's why I brought it up. I brought it up because I was gonna say that it's been hampering my creativity because I haven't been getting much sleep, and it's all very strange. So that's one thing, and the other thing I was gonna mention is just what I've been. I just wanted to talk about how I'm currently running at peak fucking capacity. I'm currently running at I'm overclocking myself. There we go. That's probably a good way to say it. I'm overclocking myself right now. So I'm playing Counter-Strike, but at the same time I'm reading this visual novel, The Final Main Route in Magikoi. Oh yeah, another thing that happened is I recorded a video and didn't post it because I recorded it the first time and got interrupted, then recorded it the second time and got interrupted, and then I was just like, fuck it, I'm not saying all of this a third time. It was a video about Magikoi, because I thought like, well, no one's gonna have actually fucking read. I don't think any of you have actually read Magikoi, so it's not that surprising. It wouldn't be that surprising if that was the case. So there's not that much of a point in doing a very specific analysis of a part of Magikoi, a visual novel that none of you have fucking read. So yeah, I didn't make that video, and then it just sort of stopped. I just kept not making videos. That is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so I'm currently. Let me die. Where's this guy? Okay, there we go. So I'm currently playing Counter-Strike and Magikoi, and I paused it to record this, listening to a fucking podcast. This podcast, Friends at the Table, which is like a tabletop RPG. People playing tabletop RPGs, basically. They play the game, and you listen to them. It's like a let's play, which makes me want to. I've never I've played D&D before with some friends. I've had D&D sessions in the past, but I know D&D is kind of like the most basic normie ass tabletop RPG, but I'm a basic normie ass tabletop RPG player because I've only played D&D a couple of times in my life. But this makes me want to be a GM, we're listening to this is the first time. Like I've had times before. Like Funhouse used to play D&D, sometimes, and other tabletop RPGs. And like there has been times in my life when I have been observing other people or had some desire to play D&D or some other tabletop RPG. But this is the first time when I have thought that I would like be interested in GMing. But I don't know if I could get people together to actually play. And I also don't know if I'd be any good. Like, it's... Being a first-time GM is like everyone knows I'm gonna suck, you know? Like no one... If anyone else has experience, it's gonna be very hard to convince people that it's better to let me, the noob, who has no idea what he's doing, and also doesn't very like fantasy or RPGs very much, to be in charge. I guess it's going to be a little difficult to convince people to let me do that, and also the fact that it's probably going to be bad because I'm, you need practice to be good at things, and I have no practice being good at this thing. However, I have a couple of ideas of like what sort of story might look like and some encounters and stuff like that. I don't know if anyone would be interested in playing with me, but that would be kind of neat. Mob plays. I think one of the reasons... I mean, I had fun playing D&D the few times I played D&D. But D&D is probably not the best tabletop RPG. Like, I've always known... Like, even when I was playing D&D, I knew that, like, people who are into tabletop RPGs generally play other versions of the game, or, like, with maybe with house rules, or they play other RPGs, not D&D. You know what I mean? Like, it's you know what I mean, right? People know what I'm talking about here. But yeah, I don't know which ones are good. It's the problem. I don't know which ones are good, and that's about it. So yeah, that would be fun. But yeah, I'm running at optimal capacity right now is the point. Because I'm listening to... I have been playing a lot of CSGO lately. And the reason is because I'm listening to this podcast. And there is a fuck ton of podcasts to get through. There is so much podcast to get through. It's been going since 2014. It's not just one game that's been going. They have seasons and stuff. But like where they play different games, different worlds, and different characters, etc. But it has been going since 2014, and it's very long, and there's a lot, and each episode is like over an hour or like an hour. It's a lot of podcasts to get through, and so I've been doing a lot of Counter-Strike, because you can't just listen to a podcast and do nothing else, right? I maybe other people are okay with that, but I personally can't just listen to a podcast and do nothing else. Like, a podcast is a listen to this while you're doing other things type of medium, right? And that's the point of them, is to like make other things entertaining by having a podcast in your ears. But I don't have a job or do... The only thing I do that requires a podcast to be bearable is going on walks, and I haven't been on any walks lately. For a variety of reasons, which I won't get into, but I kind of haven't been going out on walks very often, and even if I did, I wouldn't be able, I might not even be able to finish an episode on a walk, because they're that long, and I might go on a walk once a day, like maybe a few times a week, not even every day, like maybe 5 times a week or something. It would take me literally years to get through everything in this fucking podcast at that pace. And so that's not the plan. I'm not sure what the plan is, because this amount of Counter-Strike is not fun. Like, it's an amount of Counter-Strike that stops being fun because it's just too much. I tried to vary it up. I was like, I'll spend this much time playing competitive, and I'll switch it up for Wingman, and then when I get bored of this, I'll play some B-Hop and Surf, and that all got boring real quick. So I just went back to playing competitive. Even though I like enjoy Surf, I just like all the Surf maps I know I'm too good at for them to be fun to improve my times on. Like I'm to the point where My times are pretty close to as optimized as they're gonna get for my particular skill level on like Mesa and like Utopia, which are probably the two that I have the best times on. If you know anything about surfing, those are like basically the two most beginner maps, like the two famous beginner surf maps, Mesa and Utopia, because like the fact that they're not too difficult means that it's kind of more fun to speedrun, if that's what you want to call it, or improve my times, time trials, whatever, because it's all about optimization. But I can't be bothered to take the time to learn a new like I don't know what surf map I would enjoy learning, and also it's hard to find, like those two are very famous and popular, and so it's easy to find. I mean, I suppose I could do it offline, like you can set up a just an offline match on that map and then use the console commands to set up surfing, and I suppose I could do that. Like that's actually probably a good idea. I don't know why I haven't done that, so I might do that actually, and surf. But surfing is like, it gets boring after a while, you know, like it's fun until it isn't. It's fun for like an hour, and then it's like, okay, that's enough surfing for me. I mean, some people I'm sure find surfing to be fun forever, but I do not find surfing to be fun forever. It also is like physically taxing to surf for a long time, because like my shoulder gets tired after I've been surfing for a long time, because it's a lot of like big sweeping movements with my whole arm, and like my shoulder gets tired, and I've tried like, oh, just increase the sense or whatever, and then it's like I don't have enough control over my character and it feels weird. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah. Also, the other thing is that in CS:GO, I've been taking this time to play badly. That's one thing that the podcast is actually helping me with, is to play badly. If you don't know, if you didn't watch my Why I Play CS:GO Like a Retard video or whatever, I don't know if I even mentioned it in that video, but something about, sorry, I just got distracted by killing a man. Is this guy really not going to rush me? Is he just going to let me defuse? Wow, what a retard. Anyway, I'm trying to D-rank in both competitive and wingman. Just because I want to go back to my old ways of Zeus and noobs and knifing and noobs and hitting B-hop frags and stuff, and it's annoying. I mean, you can still do it in whatever rank I could be, like golden over 3 or whatever the fuck I was, but oops, it's still possible. It's just more boring. It's like, I don't know, it's just more boring. there's not really any other way to put it, because it just takes more time to actually get lucky enough for another person to be bad enough to let you win. So I'm trying to D-rank. But it's not working. Well, right now it's not working because I am just mindlessly getting kills. Cause at this point I'm in like, what am I? Silver 4. I'm playing a wingman match, by the way, and it's like silver. I'm like silver 4 at this point, so I can really just like completely turn my brain off and still get kills, because the people are so bad, which is to be the point, really. Because I don't want to be just getting. I don't want it to be the challenge of just getting kills is a fun challenge for me not long ago, but it's no longer a fun challenge for me, and now I want the challenge of getting kills in an interesting manner. Like that. Oh, I got a Zeus. You guys didn't see that, but I Zeused a man. You can see, look, I Zeused a man. Yeah, now I want the challenge of getting kills in an interesting manner. And to do that, you need to rank down. But to rank down, you need to lose intentionally for a long time until you get down to a lower rank. People seem to... Like, it's actually genuinely difficult to D-rank in this game. It's genuinely difficult to D-rank in Counter-Strike. Like, Counter-Strike kind of wants you to be in a rank that is just slightly above your skill level. And, it's like... it's hard to derank. It's especially hard to derank solo, like, because that's what I've been doing. It's just deranking solo. It's basically like it's a skill in itself, but it's also like very tedious because it's just playing badly, but not badly enough to get kicked. Yeah, it's challenging. It's challenging to derank solo, but it's also just really fucking tedious because you can't, like, you can, how do I put it? You can just run out and die every round and not get kicked, just get called a noob, but like that's just so boring. It's so boring to just run out and die every round on purpose. Like, you want to be doing something. You want to be running out and dying at least while doing something. But now I have this podcast, so it was like, I no longer have to care if I'm running out and dying every round, because I can be running out and dying while listening to these people play Dungeons and Dragons. It's not Dungeons and Dragons, is it? It's some other fucking RPG. I can now be running out and dying. Oh, and my teammate just won that game, even though I was throwing as hard as I could, really. I'm gonna play Nuke, actually. Fuck off. I've started playing. I've started adding Vertigo to my pool of maps that I play. Normally used to only queue Nuke. I've started adding Vertigo, but yeah, I finally got into Silver. It took like so long. I've been trying to derank to Silver for like 3 months at least. I'd say 3 months. Yeah, I've been trying to get into Silver for like 3 months, and I finally managed it just yesterday. Honestly, the players are not that noticeably worse. This is one thing I found, is that Counter-Strike ranks are mostly bullshit. At least on a small scale. Like, the difference between maybe people who are like 3 ranks apart is like a tiny improvement in aim, and like the difference between a silver and a gold nova is a gold nova might like occasionally throw a flashbang, whereas a silver will just dry peek an orb and die every time. Like, do you know what I mean? The difference is like it's minuscule. And when I've played with people who are much higher ranked, like I played a game with like 5Q'd with double AKs and like a fucking DMG player. So like I don't remember what the other team was, but it was like, I think everyone was double. I don't remember exactly what the fuck the ranks were, but it was much higher rank than I've ever been. I'll just like maybe 4 or 5 ranks higher than I've ever been, and I was like second fragging. I wasn't top fragging. The DMG guy was top fragging, but I was like second fragging. It like wasn't that difficult. It's like, it's just bullshit. The rank system, all the rank system tells you is like, can you queue up with friends regularly, or are you like just insanely good? Because like, if you're just insanely good at the game and you just have the time to put 10,000 hours in, and you're just that good, then you can maybe solo queue rank up. But solo queue ranking up is like not feasible for me because I'm not that good. What I'm trying to say is ranks are like mostly bullshit, and especially when you're me, because the people who play silver ranks on Nuke are like, some of them are just people like me who like a significant proportion of the lower rank I go. I'll put it this way: the lower rank I go, the more likely I am to find Franz J viewers. What the fuck is this guy doing? Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to being overclocked now, because this is a video that I made. This wasn't even intended to be like a long video. I meant this to just be something funny, where I was like, look how funny I am. I'm listening to a podcast and playing Counter-Strike and reading a visual novel and not taking any of them in because it's too much information. But isn't that funny that I'm doing that? And then it turned into a 25-minute long ramble about whatever the fuck I'm talking about.